head over to losingmymind.com to check out our latest song, Genocide. Support our work. Now, onto the show. Timcast.com. Biden's speech, one final warning, according to White House Chief of Staff. In some cases, we won't know the winner of the election for a few days after the election, said Biden of midterm results. One final warning. That's what he says.
The president decided a few days ago that it was important to issue one final warning on this issue, to make very clear, to leave no doubt, that we have people out there still peddling the big lie. People now raising the issue of election denial in this election.
One final warning. Oh, yeah, old Mean Joe's coming for you if you say naughty words about him. What's the one final warning? A warning to Democrats that there's going to be people who reject the results or whatever? I don't understand how that makes sense, because Democrats rejected the elections in 2016. Outright rejected it. And Stacey Abrams still does. So what's the warning? What's the pitch? In this speech, Biden was basically saying the only way democracy survives is if Democrats retain power.
Pretty much. I mean, that's essentially what he's saying here. If we lose, there's going to be something fishy going on. But if we win, you better not say something's fishy going on. And again, this is just power trying to hold on to power. And they're losing it. They're losing. It's just getting gripped out of their hands right now.
And one final warning, I mean, that sounds like a threat. That's like what parents say to their children, like, one last warning, and then I'm going to spank you. It's like, okay, like basically you're saying if we don't vote for you, we don't vote for your candidates, we're going to be punished, is kind of how it reads, because it's like, well, why can't we evaluate the candidates in front of us and decide this is an election? But he's basically saying before the election even starts, we're already in a place where, you know, they're going to bring the hammer on us.
Well, let's be fair. We are being punished because people voted for them. So in 2020, they decided Biden was the guy, and now we all suffer because of it. So hopefully we're in the midterms. You know, we're not going to change the executive branch unless they impeach him, and then Kamala. And then I guess you have to appoint a Republican Speaker of the House. Could you imagine a President McCarthy? I would not be happy.
Would you?
But it's better
than a President Kamala. Like, if you have to choose, I think the reason Biden put in Kamala is because so many other people would rather have him than Kamala. I mean, if you're asking me right now, who do you want at the position of power right now? Kamala, a sociopathic, crazy prosecutor from California, or just the old man who doesn't know where he is? I prefer the old man, to be honest with you. What about you guys?
The woman, the one that has cognizance. I can't stand vacant leadership. But Biden is surrendering.
Why would you want a competent working government?
You can. You can still negotiate certain things with bad people, but not crazy people. If Joe Biden, we won't use Joe Biden. If an 80-year-old unhinged, demented man broke into your house on accident and he was armed, and he's in your house and he's got a powerful weapon, what are you going to say to him? You're going to be like, hey there, calm down, buddy. What's going on? He's going to be like, hey, better care, bang, bang. And you're like, oh, he's going nuts. A crazy person breaks in, intending to do you harm. Now that's bad, but still equally as dangerous. However, you can still talk your way out if the person is sane. You see what I'm saying? So my point is, I don't think Kamala Harris is going to blow the world up, but Joe Biden's old and demented and may give orders pertaining to the wrong country because he's misspoken how many times. He thinks his son died in Iraq. It's like it's something he made up. That's scary.
Yeah, but still, Kamala has lower approval ratings than Biden right now.
Oh, great. So then she'll get impeached too.
Yeah, I also feel like it's just bigger than Biden and Kamala Harris. I think we need to bring pain to the Democrats. You know, it's like they kept impeaching Trump. They'd say, oh, this many times impeached, he's disgraced, Trump, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm sorry, but Trump was way more popular than you guys. So we should absolutely impeach them. It doesn't even matter if it's Biden, it's Harris. It's like they're horrible, but they should have to live with that stain because that's what they brought on us. And they always think, oh, we can do whatever we want to you guys and you'll never do it to us. It's like, wait a minute, if we take back the House, the Senate, we can do it to you guys. Maybe then they won't act like this anymore.
I don't know. Impeach him for what exactly?
Biden?
Yeah.
Impeach Biden over the southern border?
I could name a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't say some of it on this channel. The two things I can't say on this channel: one relates to a product, one relates to the treatment, three international Chinese business dealings.
SPR.
It's Hunter business dealings, Afghanistan.
The Strategic Petroleum Reserve?
Yep.
That's the big one right there.
Yep.
Gutting our Strategic Petroleum Reserve to try and win an election.
While destroying
Get him
domestic
out.
energy production and exploration.
Sending money to Ukraine. I just sorry, go. He's got to go.
I mean, what he did in Afghanistan, that's just
Already.
criminality right there.
Yeah.
That's beyond words of, it's not incompetence. It wasn't a mistake. It's top level criminality.
You're talking about the surrender?
Yeah. Yeah, the business dealings with China, the business dealings with Ukraine, there's so much to look into.
But also, let's 25th Amendment him. Okay, we're not going to say he did anything wrong. We're gonna go out with some grace and just say his brain don't work. Got to go.
Unfit to rule, right?
Got to go. Yeah. Unfit.
I haven't thought much about it. I thought impeachment is just kind of like political football. Like now it's your turn. Next time it'll be my turn, then your turn. But at some point, doing nothing is probably the wrong move. Like just waiting for incompetence to leave. It doesn't want to leave. They'll stick around until you make them get out. So maybe an impeachment is on the table.
I certainly think so.
I think the best government is the government that doesn't do anything. So the more incompetent they are, the more that they're stalled, the more that they don't do anything, the more happier I am, because that means the government's going to be interfering with my life a lot less. So I'm happy that there's going to be, I think all governments should always have a big checks of balance on it. I think if a president is Democrat, there should be a Republican Senate and House to challenge him on everything. I think there should always be huge arguments and debates. I think they have to be there for every single vote. I think they need to work at a snail's pace. And if they do that, I'll be very happy.
I think it would have been great if Trump appointed Tulsi Gabbard as like national security advisor and, just right there. Then you're bringing in someone who's more moderate, more left-leaning. This was back a few years ago when she was absolutely a Democrat. I think that would have built up a massive coalition and probably would have, Tulsi voters would be like, we'll take it. National security advisor to the president, Tulsi, anti-intervention, way better than John Bolton.
I think we'll start getting kind of stuff like that if we have Cenk Uygur on the show. Once we start doing it personally, when we can work with the people, most extremely different people.
We've invited him on the show politely.
Never stop. Keep going, because he's on his way. But once we start, I think, as citizenry, reaching across the aisle, interacting with people that we might have thought are our enemies psychologically, and we really can show in good faith that we can work together even though we disagree, you'll start to see it in politics.
You know, the issue I take that with that, Ian, is I think you're saying that out of ignorance and naivety.
No, I mean, I just think you be the change. Don't expect someone else to do it.
Well,
I heard that somewhere before.
I've been on the ground for, I was reporting on the ground for like 10 years, and I've been all over to these protests. Luke and I were in Occupy, having experienced this and knowing firsthand exactly what happens when you try and say words to these people. I can only just say to you, Ian, you are 100% incorrect. What you are proposing is like asking someone to flap their arms until they fly. It won't happen. When I saw Cenk Uygur at Politico, and I said, hey, man, how's it going? Because I know him, and I've known him for a long time. He fans me off, and I was like, hey, look, guys, you guys made a video about Dave Rubin. I don't know what your beef. I have nothing to do with it. But you put my name like front and center in your video, so I was just wondering if you could. They just start screaming at me at the top of his lungs in front of everybody at Politicon, and I'm just like, why are you yelling at me? Like, what's happening? We've invited him on the show numerous times. All they do is they make rage bait videos about us, taking us out of context. When I invited some of these high-profile leftists to come on the show, what did they do? They lied and claimed that we were tricking them to grift or whatever, and then went around hooting and hollering that I was afraid to debate or something. It was totally fake. So at a certain point, yes, I get it. We'll keep trying. We'll keep saying things like we'd love to have you on the show, but bro, at a certain point, you have to understand that it's just not going to happen.
Well, there are things we have in common with pretty much every American. Well, maybe not every American, but you look corporations, mega corporations. The amount of power a mega corporation has over the everyday American's life is completely unethical. I think that I know Cenk Uygur believes that. I believe that. I know that. I believe you believe that as well. We talk extensively about BlackRock and the power that Microsoft has and these crazy corporations. And as long as we focus on our common beliefs, the little stuff like who said what color shirt, who you voted for, that stuff doesn't really matter.
Look at AOC. She's hardcore progressive. She has now allied with like big military. She's allying with all of these things she's supposed to be against. It's like, I would love to think people stick to their principles, but for the left, it's like for them, it's diehard. It's like we will stick as a team, even if it means going against everything we believe in. Like, I know that that's probably not something she believes in, but she's going to do it because, like, she's a team player. But our side's always like, we have to be, you know, upright on every single thing. So then we get kind of divided. We have like the libertarians, like social conservatives, like all these different groups, and then we all discuss things like normal people, but they just like think that we shouldn't exist. They think Tucker Carlson shouldn't exist. They hate us.
Remember when I explained Bugs Bunnying someone? Do you remember this?
Oh, vaguely. Tell me again.
So in Looney Tunes, there's Bugs Bunny, and there's was it Daffy?
Daffy Duck?
And then Elmer Fudd has his double barrel, and he wants to figure out which of these small woodland creatures he will kill. And so there's a poster on a tree, and it says, rabbit season. So then Bugs Bunny tears the flyer off, and it says duck season. And then Elmer turns the gun to Daffy, and then Daffy goes, no, it's rabbit season. Then he tears it down, and it says rabbit. And then Elmer Fudd turns it to Bugs. They go back and forth arguing that it's actually the other person's season. Then finally, Bugs Bunny reverses his position and says, it's rabbit season. And then Daffy goes, oh, no, you don't. It's duck season. And then Bugs goes, okay, Daffy, it's duck season. And then Elmer Fudd shoots Daffy instead. And then he goes, Bugs Bunnying is a term that I use to describe when you go on Facebook and you will see a leftist arguing about why they hate this, that, or otherwise. And then what you do is you engage them arguing their point and slowly evolve your position to be their original position, and they will argue against their actual post. Dude, this happens all the time, and I do it to make a point, and then I'll say, wait a minute, you're now against social health care? This is so weird. And they'll be like, well, what I'm saying is, and I'm just like, that's the point. The point is, they hate you. They hate you so much, they will vote for Joe Biden. They hate you so much, they can hear John Fetterman go, and they're going to be like, I'd rather have that.
I mean, I don't think no one hates, people don't hate me. You could say they hate you. It's just such a generic, vague term. It doesn't,
dude,
it's not,
Colbert
might have
went
anger.
on his show and said, we looked this up. The story never happened. And if you Google it, you find the videos are viral. This guy from Dearborn said, I used to be a Democrat, I'm voting Republican. And Colbert goes on his show and said, we looked it up, never happened. And then he goes, that happened. Everyone's laughing. And he's mocking this family who's begging for help. This guy says, I went to the Democrats and said, why are you showing sexual images to my children? And they dismissed me. And when he went to Tudor Dixon and said, no more will I vote for them, Colbert went on his show, lied to the entire country because they are evil people. He could have said, he could have said, that story did happen. But what was this guy really complaining about? Books that were educating kids. He could have made an argument. Instead, he just calls the guy a liar and then claims, I looked it up, it didn't happen. See, this is why you have so many people who hate and will vote for John Fetterman or Joe Biden, because they march in lockstep behind these evil individuals. And that's the banality of evil. But then for you to be like, we should invite them on the show. We do. But come on, dude. We know for a fact they're not coming on. They go on Twitter every single day and lie about everything.
I don't agree that we know for a fact.
Have made video after video where we did not say the things they claim we said.
I really don't care. I mean, take me out of context if you want to. It's not going to stop me from trying to work together.
My point is, what makes you think they will sit down and have a real conversation with you when they are lying about you to everyone else?
What I believe is there is no other, maybe there are other ways of peacefully figuring this out, but that it's like, I don't see
peace
a logical,
in our time, right? Peace in our time.
I don't see a logical, I'm not trying to stop Cenk Uygur from invading Poland right now. No, it's not about Neville Chamberlain's weakness. I'm talking about diplomacy and communication amongst civilians in the United States. He was talking to German Nazi Hitler, dude. That's the goal. I see the goal is us hanging out, talking about stuff and showing the world that we can overcome our grievances. I don't know exactly how to get there, but I know that that's a goal.
Well, what if they silence us? What if they're like, oh, we want to say our view, they want to say their view, then they censor you, like on social media, like for the average person, right? It's like they can't actually get their views across. And then not to mention, what about during like the BLM riots, all of that? What if you're a store owner? You're like, please don't hurt me. I'm liberal. I support BLM. Please don't hurt me. And then they're like, boom, I'm going to ruin your store. right? So it's like, okay, how is that going to work when people have this complete hatred of you?
How about this?
I think what Ian is trying to say is be careful of mass generalizations, because there are bad actors that do hate you. It's not always everyone. I think that's what you're trying to say.
For sure.
But also, I just wanted to make another argument just to counter your point a little bit here, because when you say, they're all in line here, we should do the same. I don't think we should, because I think not being in line, I think questioning and arguing is a strength, and I think their cultist beliefs and ideas staying in line is a weakness and overall a bad thing.
Let me pull up this.
I don't think we should be like AOC. I don't think we should give up like our principles in order to sell out to some, company. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I do think the left goes to the extreme to do that, and our side generally doesn't do that.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.